You've almost certainly seen it by now, but after more than 2 years of speculation, searching and head scratching, aliens have finally been found in Elite Dangerous. Or more accurately, aliens have found us in Elite Dangerous, disabling the ship of one very surprised commander and making this stunning appearance. While nobody from Frontier Developments has officially said the T-word yet, it's highly likely we're looking at the Thargoids, and that is a hugely exciting development. Although right now there's practically no detail on what form the Thargoids invasion of Elite Dangerous will take, if indeed the Thargoids are invading Elite Dangerous, it nonetheless poses the question, just what does this discovery mean for Elite Dangerous? Let's start with a little refresher on who the Thargoids are, because that's kind of the key to everything. The Thargoids have been part of the franchise since the very beginning, a very aggressive, very violent part of the franchise. Basically, the Thargoids are a famously brutal, merciless alien race with very different and vastly superior technology. See, when a ship in Elite makes a frameshift jump, or a faster than light jump if you prefer, it enters what's called witch space, this funny looking tunnely thing that acts as a conduit between origin and destination. And the Thargoids are capable of yanking ships out of witch space, typically in order to destroy them. Nothing else in Elite can pull off this maneuver, which is commonly referred to as a hyperdiction. That's the level of advancement we're talking here. In the very first Elite, the Thargoids were hyper-aggressive alien enemies that would ambush players and try to destroy their ships, often successfully. In Elite 2, however, they all but disappeared from human space. In fact, captured spaceships in research stations were the only thing to suggest they'd been there in the first place. The ambushes stopped entirely, and nobody knew why. Fast forward half a century to the year 3250, in game time, obviously, and the release of Frontier First Encounters sheds new light on things. It's alleged the Thargoids were targeted by a man-made virus referred to as the mycoid virus, which attacked the polymers present in their exoskeletons but also their technology, making their faster-than-light tech completely useless. The Intergalactic Naval Reserve Arm was accused of committing genocide against the Thargoids, though this was broadly dismissed as a conspiracy theory. Either way, 53 years after that, this happens. It's pretty likely the Thargoids are back then, and if those accusations of genocide are accurate, they're almost certainly pissed off. So if the Thargoids mean anything for Elite Dangerous, bearing in mind they're a hyper-aggressive alien race, it's probably war. While the ship seen in this footage didn't attack the commander it had hyperdicted, that should by no means be taken as an indicator of peaceful intentions. David Braben, co-developer of the original Elite, has said in the past that a peace between humans and Thargoids isn't out of the question, but would at best be a temporary measure. So if the Thargoids are rolling into Elite Dangerous in force, they're almost certainly going to be hostile. And with that threat, of course, comes another big change, namely shifting player dynamics. Just like in real life, the human race in Elite Dangerous is divided into numerous different factions, alliances, and outlooks, which is to say humans don't really get along with other humans. The Thargoids, however, presumably aren't going to care about any of that. They aren't going to treat players differently based on who they are, what their ship does, or to which faction they're aligned. To be honest, they're more likely to get on with the business of blowing them up instead. And just as a reminder, the Thargoids can pull people out of a frameshift jump, meaning Elite's magic run away button is no longer a safe option. Combine that with the sheer lack of information as to what the Thargoids are capable of doing, and it's a fairly safe bet we're looking at a common enemy. To better explain the likely impact of a Thargoid invasion on the Elite Dangerous player base, let's turn to the man who found them in the first place. Speaking to PC Gamer, Robert Bettig, the commander who first had the alien encounter, said, "There's a lot of politics in Elite Dangerous, not just from the local factions, but also the big players. These aliens, we don't know anything about them. If they are Thargoids, we're up shit creek without a paddle. We're going to have to stop beating ourselves up over petty little things and really come together and focus as a human race to deal with this." Which is pretty impactful and also very true, at least on paper. Admittedly, previous Elite Dangerous updates have tried to introduce more player dynamics to the game and haven't been as impactful as perhaps hoped. But nonetheless, if the Thargoids roll in as hard as some people expect, it's going to mean big changes for the way people play. But then that's the crux of the issue, really, isn't it? All of this depends on just how widespread these alien encounters are going to get. So far, these incidents have been confined to off-the-grid locations, i.e. bits of the galaxy humans haven't colonised yet. Will the Thargoids cross the line and start invading human space, bringing the fight all the way to populated systems, or will they keep to the fringes, menacing explorers who stray too far off the beaten path?
System reboot sequence initiated.
Everything about this development in Elite Dangerous hinges on how far Frontier Developments decides to push it. Severity is, after all, a very difficult thing to balance properly, and Elite Dangerous has a pretty broad player base. Some people, for instance, are flying around in tiny, weak ships. Not everyone is kitted out for combat either. Explorers, traders, and miners often eschew weapons and even shields in order to optimize their ships for their chosen profession. If the Thargoids invade full tilt, then life could become very difficult for those players. And on the flip side of the coin, not everyone enjoys exploring the distant reaches of space, especially if there are no trades to be made or bounties to be bagged along the way. If the Thargoids are too distant, some players might never see them, which would be interesting for sure, but might squander what is, let's face it, a golden opportunity to shake up Elite Dangerous. So what do the Thargoids mean for Elite Dangerous? Almost certainly some space fights, and more than likely a shift in how players think and act in-game. Beyond that, the extent of the impact is anyone's guess, and with that in mind, why not make your predictions in the comments below? Will the discovery of aliens and Elite Dangerous change the course of the game forever, or will it just be one more thing to look out for while pootling around the galaxy? Give us your thoughts if you like. Either way, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, we've got plenty more, and we'd really appreciate a like and subscribe if you've got the time. Either way, thanks again, and have a good day.